Awesome, Craig. Well, listen, I just want to thank you obviously for your time today. And I just want to kind of just chat a little bit about, fleet search and recruitment revenues engagement at this point. So yeah, if you're ready, I'd love to kind of kick us off. You can give us a bit of an introduction, who you are, what fleet search is all about, and yeah.
Yeah, well, Fleet Search is effectively pretty much a search and selection organization, or we use a search and selection methodology for contingency recruitment. And the specialism really is along the lines of internal audit, corporate governance, risk,
Nice.
Within the financial services, mainly banking, but also asset management, insurance, and private wealth. So that's Fleet in a bit of a nutshell.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, quite a competitive market, and we had a brief discussion as well. I mean, it's such a fluctuating market as well. So yeah, I completely appreciate the efforts that you have to go through. So before we kind of really get into it a little bit, I just want to know how you're feeling about the caliber of meetings that we've been bringing through to you so far.
Yeah, I mean, the feedback on your approach has been quite strong from when we've been talking to clients, and the clients that you've brought to our table have been pretty much what we've been after. And particularly the more recent ones with JP Morgan, that was a good fit. We had there's a lot of synergy with Socrates, who we spoke with, who was he knew people that we knew, which was great, and made the fit much easier. As well as some of the other ones with Kerm, and we've got another one I think coming up fairly soon with
potential.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be a great one. Hopefully we can line that up. It's obviously it's a well-known international banking group, so crossing fingers, because that's gonna be another great one for you. It's also just been really great kind of working with you as a client. The insights that you it's a pleasure. Well, I mean, the insights that you yourself and Paul have been able to kind of give us has really given us the ability to kind of drive these well-matched companies through your door. But yeah, I mean, kind of before your engagement with Recruitment Revenue, what was your overall lead generation looking like?
Well, this is the reason we came to you in the first place, because the execution side of things of the business, it's absorbing us. So actually trying to get back out there, we know a lot of people in the market, but it's trying to get around to them, and it's difficult. You just don't have enough hours in a day. So
yeah,
so that there was not really much lead generation going on at all, to be fair. So it was more them coming to, we want to kind of go out and expand, and it's a bit limiting. So
yeah, I mean, and I think that's where we can kind of align quite nicely with you. I mean, we want to help you with that expansion as much as possible and kind of be your complete BDM arm. So, and I guess you already touched on it a little bit, but the pain points that you might have experienced kind of previously with lead generation. I know some people have experienced, they've been burnt by the agencies, but yourself, I mean, could you say, you haven't had enough time with lead generation to kind of conduct it yourself, or what?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's just been, we don't have time because we've got so much on. It's not just the audit piece. We've got another entity, and that takes up a lot of our time, and it impacts really what happens with the banking side of things. So
Of course. Yeah, of course, completely appreciate that. I mean, as I touched on, we're here to be that kind of additional asset for you, for sure. So, I mean, let's jump into it then. Let's kind of get going with this JP Morgan meeting. I mean, that's from our side. I mean, we see that come through, and we just get so excited, So, I mean, for a firm like Fleet, how does a door like JP Morgan, how often does that actually open, and what could it mean getting onto the PSL?
Well, we have worked with other large institutions before, but with recent kind of geopolitical events over the last few years, there's been restriction getting into those entities, and as much as we've been on PSLs, the general background is that for recruiting outside of the internal recruitment structure, for a big organization like JP's, and I'm not talking about necessarily JP's now, but others, realistically they've closed the door to recruiters. So it's cutting costs and things like that. So it's then lead generation really does come into its own.
Yeah,
and
of course,
because you've got to go out hunting to find where those gaps are.
Yeah,
and it's so having somebody like JP's on board, and knowing that we're able to use, or that they are able to use recruiters, is a massive benefit. And I think as well, being able to quote that you're working with a big entity like JP Morgan, when you're talking to other organizations, you can throw that into the pot. So
of course.
Success.
I mean, that in itself.
So
yeah, exactly. I mean, that in itself is such a powerful tool and a powerful asset. Just being able to kind of throw that name out, it's a really positive thing. And the prospect that we put you in front of, I believe his name was Socrates. He seems, from the feedback you've given me, he seems that he's quite keen to kind of get you guys onto the PSL and yeah.
Well, he knows. Weirdly enough, at another organization, before we set up Fleet, I brought in a girl who ended up becoming my researcher.
Oh, nice.
And she was excellent, and we had a great relationship. And then I left the organization, she took over. So Socrates was aware of her, and we had a great chat about what she's, who she is, what she's been up to, and all that great type of stuff. And I think as well, it gave him comfort because he knows that I trained her, so that if he's using us, he's just getting another replication of really her. And so it went down quite well, and it was the meeting was a very comfortable one. We were chatting through other people we know in the market and that type of stuff as well. And that helps. So and he was on board pretty much.
Amazing.
The only issue we've got to do now is win over HR, but I think with his backing, that'll help a lot. So
great. I mean, that's also such a great testament to yourself, to Paul, to Fleet. I mean, the fact that you're able to have such a knock-on effect just out of the blue, it's really a great testament to you guys as an organization.
Thank you very much.
No, it's a pleasure. And I know I mentioned to you, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but we're also potentially setting up a meeting for Fleet with a very well-known mid-sized international banking group. So that's potentially two pretty large, pretty massive whales in your books. So how does it feel for us to kind of have us on board, opening up these doors for you?
It's definitely, no question, useful. We're getting the name out there, so that's useful. And realistically, the target, this organization is more of a mid-cap but international banking group of a decent size. And this is, when we came to you, this was the target that we were looking for, really, because we were concerned about the larger bulge bracket banks like JP's actually opening the doors, given that there was a policy of not utilizing agency. This was the target market, and you've absolutely nailed this one. So I'm very keen to kind of see where this goes. So
I really appreciate that. I mean, the team's also going to be so chuffed to hear that, because they're working tirelessly. So I mean, when we're able to kind of produce these sort of results, it's such a incredible win, morale booster. So really appreciate kind of that upfront.
Well, no, I've got to say, the feedback we've had from people so far, about the approaches has been quite strong.
Great.
One in particular, lady who was working on your behalf, the individuals, I think it was Kerm, came back and said, the only reason I actually took the call with you guys, although was really that they were straightforward, and they weren't. They were open and honest. It came across as being an open and honest conversation. And with these guys, they're able to kind of disseminate, should we say, sales talk quite quickly.
For sure.
So, so that open honesty and being able to, still convey the message, that's impressive, quite frankly.
No,
So
great. Well, no, I really appreciate it. I mean, that's such good news to hear, because that's exactly what we aim for. So the fact that we're able to kind of deliver on that point is really, really great. And it kind of leads me into the next piece where, you know, a lot of people do think that recruitment is instant, you know, one meeting, one vacancy, you know, money in pocket. But the fact of the matter is that recruitment often isn't an immediate win. So
oh no,
for a client like, you know, JP Morgan or the other one that we've mentioned, how do you see the value kind of building over time? Because the potential behind those sort of meetings, I mean, any way you look at it is great.
If you get like I said, we've been here before with larger entities, so I can tell you exactly what can happen. It can go from nothing to massive in the space of a year.
Yeah.
I remember one client in particular I've been working on for kind of 9 months. This is when I was first in recruitment, and I don't mind, it was Citigroup at the time, and basically they gave us a vacancy, we filled it, and like I say, 9 months of kind of, you know, regular contact, building a relationship, and they then became the biggest client for the company after you know, after literally a year, and I think we did 6 figures in terms of fees with just that client.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, this could be that, quite easily could be that.
Amazing. Well, I mean, as you just said, so the potential behind this kind of JP Morgan or the other clients could really kind of scale you past that 6-figure mark, which would be
absolutely, yeah. I mean, these days, average fee for a mid-level person is probably going to be in around about the 13-15 grand mark. So amazing. you do 6 or 7 of those, you're kind of already hitting getting close to that 6-figure mark, and it could be more than that. So, you know,
for sure. I mean, you know, again, with JP Morgan, you can really, after that first kind of placement and kind of proving yourself, if you will, it can really just kind of accelerate from there, and the return on investment in that alone is really, really great and exciting to see.
Absolutely.
For sure. Awesome, Craig. Well, listen, I really, really appreciate your time today. It's been great kind of getting your feedback. And yeah, we can't wait to kind of keep driving these results for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to seeing what you guys can do.
For sure. Awesome, Craig. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Andrew. Much appreciated.
Awesome.
Take it easy then.